Today we're gonna drill holes, all right, on all the parts. But first we're gonna use what's called a indexing head or a dividing head, indexing head, and on the mill. But first, and you're gonna see that in a moment. First thing I wanna do is I want to put in this eccentric pocket right here, okay? I had mentioned last week that I wanted to do this on the CNC. We're not gonna be able to do it. Turns out we're still not gonna be able to. For some reason today I have compressed air. So I wanna take advantage of having some compressed air, and let's get this in. We're gonna put this eccentric pocket in, and all right, into the spindle base, and we'll drill some holes. So, right, we're gonna put this in here. You guys know this drill now. So pop this guy here. All right, and what I really wanted to show you is how I indicate this in. It's kind of cool. This here. That'll work like that. Okay, so let's see. First thing I'm gonna do is get this in. It's not bad. And then I'm gonna move it. But let's get this in. All right, so we're already just a few thou away. Oop. I don't want to put it in too tight because I'm going to move it around, and just snug. So that's that's half a thou. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to put this relatively straight. Okay, it's not like totally, doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I could get out a little level and put a level on here and make this like perfect, right? But we don't need to do that, I don't think. And if we notice on the print, we're a 1/4 inch, 250 thou off center, okay? So I'm gonna run around the other side of the lathe, and I'm gonna back this jaw off. Whoop. Actually, I forgot to do something. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna preload my indicator quite a bit. So that's 100, 200, so there's 300 thou, okay, on the preload. And you can see we're definitely running half a thou or under, okay? So let's get this back here. Make sure I got enough room, I do. All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back this jaw off. So make sure you can see. I'm watching the indicator, okay? And I'm gonna back this jaw off about there. Come back around. And I'm gonna push the part 1/4 inch, okay? So we'll see that happen right now. So there's 100. Gotta loosen up that jaw a little bit. Yep. So go there, see what that. And then there's 200, and then there's 250,000. So I'm gonna come around the other side and tighten this up. I'm looking at the indicator, by the way. All right, so that's snug that up. Yeah, that's snug. And that's snug. That's pretty good. Okay, so we'll see. I wanted to make sure this is snug. So I just moved the part over 250 thou. All right. So it's off center. Okay, it's off center. 250 thousandths. Now, I got an idea, so you can see what is what's happening, and this will be kind of cool. I'm just gonna put this in, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna gently, I'm gonna put a Sharpie in here just so it won't move. And what I'm gonna do is, just so you guys can see what I'm up to, if I take this Sharpie now, all right. That's right. So what I want to do, bring this out here. Right about there. Okay. So there's that. See, I drew it in with the Sharpie. Okay, you can see how the lathe is going to follow that, right? And that's the center. All right, that was kind of cool. All right, so take this out. And so I want that. And what we'll do, and I wanted to show you this too. So this is how I hold this particular boring bar. This is what's called a 5C collet. And there's a little pin. The pin doesn't do anything but to keep this from spinning. And then the taper right here is really what locks everything in. So if I just didn't, what did I just do? There we go. So this goes there, and then the boring bar goes in here, and I don't want very much hanging out because I don't want it to deflect. All right, and I'm looking at a little relief, so that's good. You guys have seen this so many times. I'm just gonna run through this. Okay, looks pretty good. And oop, I moved it. I felt it. This is called a spanner wrench. And yeah, that's pretty good. Just snug this up. Okay. And let's see how, I'm just gonna check to see how low I am. Pretty low. I think it's, let's get to this one. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. All right, so we're gonna raise the tool up a little. And right about there. That looks good. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is just straighten this out. Okay. And snug this up. Pull this around. And okay. And then here's my depth. So I'll preload the indicator. Okay, so I'm touching on the face lightly. I preloaded my indicator. I want to go 300 thousandths deep, and I think it's 300 thousandths deep and 1.75 in diameter. Okay, so my calipers. And we're gonna run, I'm gonna start at about 500, and I think we should be pretty good. Yep, let's check everything here. All right, so you can see how it's like, it looks funny because, right? Yeah. So power feed's going the right direction. You know, ignore that black line. I probably should erase it. Let's see what that, actually that black line's really close. But so I probably should erase that black line, but I'm not going to. So we're just gonna start off nice and slow here. Okay. So there's 100 deep. Okay. I want this. Yeah. So there's 100 deep. All right, let's try that. And rough. So what I'm doing is I'm just gradually making it bigger, you know, in diameter and depth as we go. So there's about 200 thousandths on the depth. so there's about 250 on the depth. Here we go. There's 300. I'm gonna lock the carriage. And okay. And there we are. All right. So we'll take our final measurement to make sure that looks really good. Okay. And I'll bring this around, hopefully get this in here. You can see, okay. All right. Oh, like you can't see. So I am pretty much spot on there. All right. And then I'll measure the depth the wrong way. I know the depth is good, but let's just see what it says. Yeah, it says 300, okay? So that's good. So the pocket's done. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to see if I can do this without moving the camera. Bring this in here, my chamfer tool. See that pretty good. Let's chamfer that. All right, that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I want to chamfer this. So guess what? I have to recenter the part, okay? So it'll only take me a moment. So I know I have this badge up, okay? Look at this. And all right. So back this off out there. I'm gonna move this over. And put my indicator back on. Okay. Don't know if I know you guys can't see that. I'll go fast. Neutral. See how out we are. So, just in case you guys want to see, the dial is half a thou, not even half a thou, okay? So we'll go ahead and we'll call that good. And then let's put this back in. This is a little trickier because got that sure don't
hit here. Okay. Right about there. Get this sort of aligned. Make sure I'm not gonna hit what I just did. And looks like we'll be able to go straight in, okay? Oops. Back into gear. And we'll chamfer that. Alright. Whoop. Just let me bump that. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna bump it one more time. I got a little bit of chatter in there. I think you heard it. There we go. And okay, all done. All right, so ready to drill some holes. Anyway, what's going on here is it's a lot like the 3-jaw chuck. So the jaws are on a scroll, and the part goes in the jaws. But what it does, and it goes on the mill, and we're going to do that right now. But if you can see down here, it's got the degrees of a circle. So I can turn, and so what happens is it locks in, so you can see it says 0 right here, and then it's I can move it to, let's see, this is even, so 30, right, and 60, and of course it'll go to 90. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the mill, and yeah. Alright, so I'm going to put the dividing head on the table here of the mill. What's really important when you do this is that everything's really clean. No chips, okay, not just so it's not, the chips on the table, what happens is, not only is it like parallels, right, when you're on the vise, okay, but the chips embed themselves into the metal of the table, and also like the vise or whatever. So I already cleaned this. This is really clean. I already cleaned the bottom of the dividing head, but I'm going to do that again. The dividing head weighs about 80, 90 pounds. So it's not light. Okay. And let's see here. And this. Okay, put this on in place of the vise, and it's pretty good. Relatively center on there. These are called, I'm sure you guys can see. These are T-slot nuts, and so they fit into the T-slot here. Okay, and go ahead and tighten these up. So, what I'm going to do is put this on 0, okay, and I've got some, there it is, the rag. I've got some aluminum shims here that I'm going to use to protect our part. So I'll go ahead and put these in. They look like this. Okay. And so I'm going to go, let's do, I think this is a good example. We'll do this first. So just very gently, this here. Here's the chuck key. Actually going to make it just like the lathe, okay? And now what I've got to do is get this kind of close to center. Alright, so what I did, we got this in here, and I just eyeballed it, see if that's close, okay? And you know, I just looking at the center of the circle and the chuck, okay? And I'm gonna lower this a little, whoops, lower blade, not raise it. And I'm gonna use my indicator here. This in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to preload my indicator slightly. It doesn't have to say 0, okay? And we're going to keep an eye on that indicator, and what I want to do is I want to see, I'm going to get this centered on that circle, and the way I'm going to do that, you can already see that I'm actually really close. So if I'm 5 in the white here, 4 in the white there, and I'm 3 in the yellow over here, I want to split the difference, okay? So right about there, okay? And then on Y, I hope you guys can see that. I know you're not going to be able to see the other side. That says 0, and that says 1. So I'm going to split the difference. That's a tough split, half a thou. But I'll try. Well, come on. There we go. Okay. And now you can see that says 1. What's that say? That says 0. So if I split the difference on this side, half a thou. You guys, I mean, that's nothing. There we go. Okay. Now, when I spin this, the needle is barely moving. Hope you can see that. Can you see that? Yeah. The needle is barely moving. It's like hovering between 1 in the white and a half, okay? And that's good enough, okay? For what we're doing. So I can go ahead and take my indicator out. And so really what I've done is
I found the center of the circle, okay? And now, turn the digital readout on, okay? And, well, it's on because I just turned it on, so it's all zeroed. So that's the center of this spindle base. If we go over to the print, we can see here that it says 1032, all right? And it's 1.5 inches. It's 1.5 inches off the center, okay? So we know exactly where the center of this is. So if I move this 1.5 inches over in either X or Y, okay, I've got the dividing head now. So let me show you. Let me just show you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and move this 1.5 inches. I'm gonna do it on Y, just because that's what I'm used to. Come on, half doesn't even matter. There we go. Okay, so 1.5 inches, and I'll put a center drill in there so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, now watch this, it's so cool. So what I can do, which I'm gonna do, is that's where I'm gonna be drilling, right? See that? Okay. And now if I move this 90 degrees, well, let me start at 0 because I had it off of 0. So, okay. And now I move it 90 degrees. There's my next, then I move 180. There's my next one. And now I can move it, 270. That's my next one. Okay? So let's go ahead and do that. And oil. Okay, so my dividing head is on 0, all right? And I got the center drill in there. I want to get my phone all oily, but that's okay. And so I'm just gonna, little bit of oil. And, oh, turn the mill on, Blake, come on. All right. Now, 90 degrees. See, it says 90. Now 180. 180. $270. All right. Now, take this out. It's hot. Woo! It's hot. And we're gonna use a 21 because we're doing 1032 threads. And we'll go ahead and lower the table a little. Okay. And okay. And I don't know, we need to go at least 3/4 of an inch, okay? Deep. So drop some oil in here. And honestly, guys, it's just a lot of patience, okay? Yeah, you know what? You gotta enjoy being in front of the machine. Whoop. You really do. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, then it's gonna suck. All right, that's good. Okay, so let's move to the next one. All right. Sure did. Okay. So there's our holes for a tap, all right? And here's our tap. But first, since there's air today, okay. Yeah, let's put this in. There's one. Make sure that's snug. Okay, sorry about that. We got one more left. And I was interrupted. Okay, so let's see. One more. Okay, so that's done. That chip. I'll have to fish out those chips. And all right, now. So let's go back to 0, okay? Before, well, I'll take the tap out. And let's go back to 0 on the digital readout. And okay, what I'm gonna do is flip the part, okay? So I don't wanna lose any of those. take this. Let's see here. Looks pretty good. All right. Okay. And put this in here very gently. And tighten it back up. Grab my indicator, and I'm gonna find zero again. When I have these shims in here, I'm gonna lose it by just a couple thou, okay? Just in case anyone was wondering what was going on. Put the machine in neutral and see where I'm at. See that? 6 or 7 there, and then we'll know exactly how much I lost it by. That's pretty good. So that's 2, 0. I'm gonna go there to 1. That's at 1. Oh yeah. So we're hovering around 1. So 6 thousandths on Y. We were off. Not off. That we had to. Trying to make these videos shorter. By putting these shims in here, it's not in exactly the same place. I mean, it's close, but it's not when I flip the part right. So what I've got to do is just reorient my part. It's no big deal. It's only a few thousandths. So let's go ahead and put the center in. And we're gonna put in this 1/4 inch oil return hole here. This hole right here, okay? And yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna eyeball it. So I know I'm on center here, okay? And we need to go, what's it say? What's it say? 800 thousandths. All right, so we need to go 800 thousandths over here. Okay. And I'm gonna look here and I'm gonna see. Actually, it looks really good. I mean, I know it's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be perfect. So right about there, okay? That looks pretty good to me. Let's see. Let's check this. I guess the other thing I could do is move this over and really see it. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'll go back to 800. Right there. And let's drill a 1/4 inch hole. Right? Put the machine in gear. Okay. And 800, a 1/4 inch hole all the way through. There it is. this in here. A little oil and we're off. All right. Okay, so except for countersinking the holes, we're done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill some more holes the same way in all the other parts, and then there's one more thing I do want to show you. So when that part comes up, okay, I'll show you that. Let's see here. So I got this to do, okay? And I'm gonna drill some holes, not tap them. There's gonna be a tapped hole in the middle. But I do wanna show you how to put in little counter bores. So when I get there, I'll show you, okay? It's the same process as doing this. Okay, so I wanted to do this last part for on camera real quick, and what I wanted to show you, the reason why I'm doing it is we got a hole to tap here and then 4 through holes, which are really easy, but we've got to put in this counter bore for the screw, and I'm going to do it with an end mill, okay? And that's what I wanted to show you. So here we go. I'm going to support this here with a parallel. I'm gonna put this in, and what I've got are some brass shim stock, and come on, I think should be able to slip these in here. I'll put this long one in the back. And what they're gonna do is they're gonna protect the part from getting damaged by the jaws, okay? I need a third hand. We'll get it. Slip this in. Alright. And snug this up. Okay. And I'm sure this is, I'm gonna give this a little tap. Make sure it's flat on that yeah, there we go. And snug this up, make sure we're good. Okay, that's good. Yeah. And I'll put the indexing head on, or dividing head, however you say it, on 0. I'm on 0. And check to make sure that I'm still centered. Do that by I'm gonna sweep the diameter as opposed to the inside. Alright, so that says a little over 4. So I gotta adjust it a little bit. And the other side said 2 in the white, so we want to split the difference. So 2 in the yellow, 1 in the yellow, 2 in the yellow. So that's a 2 in the yellow, 1 in the yellow. So I'll split that. I mean, we're talking, now we're in the tenths range here. See what I can do. All right, so that's half. That's 1. That says 2. I'll split that and see if we can get this. 1. One and a half, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. All right. Hey, we're good. Okay. So zero out the digital readout, and first thing I'm going to do is drill and tap that center hole. So here's a center drill. Center drill. Oop. And what's the distance there? 1 1/2. All right, so I'll do one. I'll put it up front this time so you can see it better, maybe. So 1 1/2 on the DRO. Hope I was recording. I really hope I was recording. That. Gonna do a quick tool change here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this 4-flute solid carbide end mill in here, 3/8 in diameter.
do is just get a spot with no holes in it, and I'm gonna touch off this way. So I'm just gonna drop the quill down so the end mill touches the. Actually, let me check something really quick. Make sure that's tight. Yeah, it's tight. Okay, and so that's touching. Okay, and then I'm gonna zero out the knee. So I'm going to zero out the knee, and then that's going to be my depth of cut. So that's how I'm going to measure, because right, that says 0 and that's 0, right? So I'm just going to back this off now, just a little bit. Now I'm not touching, okay? And what I'm gonna do is put it back on. Where am I at? Doesn't matter. I'm in the drop-in position, okay? And some oil in here. Turn this on, and I'm gonna use the knee, the Z height handle. To plunge in alright, so there's an 8. And put some more oil in there. And we want to go to we want to go to about 220. Sorry, 220. So there's an 8. I'll just go to, alright, okay, get that chip, there we go, and now I'll just go to the next one. Okay, all done. Happens to be some air today. And take this out. Shims out of there. Okay. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to countersink these holes. I wonder if that'll get in there. No, it won't. But I can get the other ones. I got a countersink that'll get in there. But let's let me do it this way so you guys can see what I'm doing first. So I'm just gonna, just, it's hard to explain. Okay, so there's one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this auto center, okay? And I'm just barely
it's just, I'm, you know, barely holding it, and it auto centers around there, okay? And let me grab this one. I know you can't see it because it's deep down in there. And yeah, that's good. And then let me change countersinks so I can get in there. Will that one reach? That will reach. All right. All right. And what we're doing here is just that. Okay. Just letting it's a hole, so it's auto centering on there. All right. All right, that's good. All right. I'm just gonna clean this real quick, really clean these parts. But what I wanted to show you, well, this is what we just did. All right. That looks pretty good. Okay. And, you know, when we did, you saw this, all I did was put some screws in here. But let's check this out. And what's up? No, it's okay. What's up? Oh, right on. Is he back? Yeah. Yeah, so I know you probably can't see that, but very well. I need to just real quick countersink that. And let's see if this, oh yeah. Okay. All right. So this is these two that we just did, and so the way that this works, this drops in there like that. And if we machined everything to the right dimension, plus the O-ring, right? We'll put this all together. It's kind of like a dry fit. And there we go. We've got a chip in that screw. But anyway, you get the idea. And so this screw, the center one, that's for the magnet. Refresh your memory. I got a chip in there that I'll have to get out. But everything lines up. Okay, I got a chip in there. So that goes there. And then I also, off camera, the same technique. You guys aren't missing anything. I drilled and tapped 6 screws in here, okay? And all right, and then I made this. I know I didn't film this, but there was no need to, because it was just a bore, a face, a turn, and a bore, and then I cut it on the bandsaw, flipped it around, faced it, countersunk it, same thing, and this goes on here, and you can see that that lines up nicely, okay? And this whole arrangement goes like this, okay? And then of course there's the magnets, so it'll float. Next is the platter, okay? So next we'll do in the platter. So we're all set. I got parts to clean, and I'll do that off camera. You don't need to see me. I'm just gonna go through and clean these parts very well, okay? And everything lined up, everything's working. Hope this turned out shorter. Have a great week.